If you're feeling stuck in a rut or unmotivated, or you really just want to change your life, you don't need to do these extreme 1-week challenges or 30-day diets. It all comes down to the little things done over a long period of time that will make it a whole lot easier for you to stay fit and will dramatically change your life. And these are 14 tiny habits that can change your life forever. Use the 85% rule. I like to apply this in 2 different ways. First, it's been scientifically proven that you don't actually have to train to absolute failure to get most of the results. You can still get most of the benefits in terms of strength and muscle gain, whether you go to absolute failure on every set of every exercise or stop 1 or 2 reps shy. When I started training, I thought that I had to go into every workout and give it absolutely 100%. And that just led to me being completely burnt out because I was trying, but I just wasn't feeling it and I wasn't enjoying the workouts and I just wasn't seeing results from it either. But after I experienced what training to failure felt like and I knew what it was like to stop 1 or 2 reps shy, I actually started seeing better results than when I trained completely to failure. And to be honest, training with 85% effort, knowing that I'm still getting most of the results, made my workout week a whole lot more enjoyable, and I was able to recover better as well. The second way I apply the 85% rule is with diet. I aim to eat clean, minimally processed whole foods at least 85% of the time, and that leaves the 15% that I can just eat what I want, really. Looking at your diet like this means that you're not beating yourself up if you go out for dinner 1 night a week and you fall off whatever plan you had. And it makes your life a whole lot more flexible and enjoyable. You can enjoy the foods you want to enjoy. You can go out for dinner, you can spend time with family, you can go on nights out and not feel guilty because you'll still be making progress and you've not fallen off track because 85% of the time you're eating clean, healthy and nutritious foods.
I feel like it's pretty much common sense at this point, but we all do it, so never go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Studies have actually shown that when you go grocery shopping on an empty stomach, you're gonna make bad food choices that aren't based on the nutritional content of food, but on the temporary cravings that you might have in that moment. I am definitely guilty of this, and it usually ends up with me buying foods that I really didn't need and spending a lot more money on my food shop than I originally intended. And on top of that, I've then got foods in the house that aren't the most nutritious and aren't really gonna help me get to my goals. Start every day with a glass of water. Think about it. Your body is made up of about 70% water, and you're not drinking at all overnight, so you're going to be really dehydrated in the morning, which is why drinking water first thing is super important. It's going to help prevent dehydration, promote better skin, better hair, improve metabolism, increased energy, so there's really no reason not to. And no, coffee doesn't count, that actually dehydrates you, so go for water first and then have your coffee. Educate yourself. Okay, that sounded a little bit intimidating. Learn something every day. You might be wondering how learning something every day is going to help you stay fit. And the thing is, staying fit isn't just a physical thing, it's also a mental game. Learning about health and fitness can go such a long way in helping you to become that healthy and best version of yourself. And the things that you learn don't necessarily have to be something new. It could be something that you've heard a long time ago and you just need a little bit of a refresh, or you want to go into it that bit deeper. Even just simple little things like researching what muscle groups the exercise that you're planning to do in your workout is actually going to be working, or listening to a podcast as you go on a walk, or watching an educational YouTube video or a documentary, because ultimately being curious to learn more things, and even things like optimizing your approach in the gym, is gonna make you see progress faster than the people who aren't doing that kind of stuff. So invest in your learning and trust me, it's gonna make more of a difference than you think. The next one's super simple, but it's gonna blow your mind. How many hours do you spend cooking per week? And I mean including getting the pots and pans out in the first place, doing the washing up afterwards, and all the little faffy stuff in between. For me, it would probably take an hour if I'm being super efficient on a good day. But think about what would happen if, for just one of those days that you spent cooking, you just cooked a little bit more, put it in some boxes, whacked it in the freezer, and then you had enough food for the rest of the week. It literally took you 2 extra minutes to put the food in the boxes, but you've eliminated 6 days of washing up and getting stuff out, 6 days of cooking. So that's 6 hours you're saving every single week by just doing meal prep. I know meal prep can sound pretty intimidating when someone just says, go, do meal prep. But it's literally just cooking a bit more of the same meal that you were gonna cook anyway for your dinner on that one night. You don't have to do it like that. You can do it every few days so that you're not eating the same thing every single night, but the concept still stands. Prepping your meals is going to save so much time, so much money. You're going to know exactly what you need to buy, and having nutritious meals on hand is going to help you stick to your goals so much easier, and it means you're not going to have to think about cooking after a long day at work. I don't know about you, but when I get home after uni, I'm so tired. I don't want to have to think about cooking. And if I did, I'd probably make bad food choices, and that wouldn't get me to my goals. So just being that tiny bit more prepared is going to change your life. Sign up for something scary. If I sign up for something, I am so much more likely to go through with it. It's actually crazy. This obviously isn't a habit that you would do every day, but it's one that's going to go a lot further than just improving your fitness. In some cases, it can almost be a little bit of putting your money where your mouth is. So if you signed up for something that you have to pay for, then you've already invested in stepping out of your comfort zone. So if you don't do it, then you're going to be losing money and you'll be a little bit disappointed in yourself. Or if you sign up for a running event or a class at your local gym, then I know it can be super scary when you first go in there because you have no idea what's going on, and meeting new people can be scary. But trust me, you're going to get a lot out of it, and you might even find a friend that is going to push you further on your fitness journey than you could yourself. So when those opportunities pop up that are going to get you out of your comfort zone, say yes. You don't have to do it every time, obviously, but it's good to make a habit of every so often stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something crazy. I've actually done this quite a lot recently. First of all, starting this YouTube channel because I don't know, you probably don't notice, but I am a massive introvert. I would much rather just stay on my own, do my own little thing, but here I am. And starting my fitness journey, actually, I was so scared to start the gym because I was very, very skinny, and I thought that everyone would judge me, I would do everything wrong, and it would just be a bit of a car crash. But almost 2 years later, I'm the fittest and strongest I've ever been. But the most recent thing that's really got me out of my comfort zone is I've started bodybuilding. And I did start my fitness journey sort of doing bodybuilding style, but I never thought that stepping on the stage would actually be a real possibility. Like, for little old me with average genetics, I'm a student, I don't really have the money for that. And now I have a coach. And it's actually happening. And I'm not gonna lie, stepping on stage in a bikini, currently, the idea right now, freaks me out. I'm not ready for that. But I'm not competing until like another year, so I've got time to build that confidence. I'm gonna be stepping out of my comfort zone so many times along the way, but that's what builds us. You and me, we're just normal people, and the more we step out of our comfort zone, the more it builds our character and the more confidence we have. Never leave dirty dishes in the sink. I know this is a little bit of a random one. I live in a 9-person house, and I know that sometimes it can't be helped, but there is nothing that drains my motivation, my energy, and just my general productivity for the day than getting to the kitchen in the morning and the sink looking like that. And it's not just the sink. I mean, it's just going to be adding extra stress to your morning that you really don't need, and it can be easily avoided. Eat for fuel. Most people spend way too little time thinking about what they're putting into their bodies and how that actually affects their bodies. And that's why we have a crazy amount of health problems nowadays, and then a crazy amount of drug problems because they're trying to give people drugs to help with their health problems, and they aren't really addressing the root cause of the problem, which for most people is diet and exercise. Last year, I actually went through a phase of trying to figure out what foods would help me fuel my body most optimally. And before, I had sort of cut out carbs a bit because I just felt that I was more energized without them. But I'd not really had many carbs in my diet for such a long time that I didn't know what the effects would be if I added them back in. And that's what I did. I started to add carbs back in slowly, just a little bit at a time, and I did feel a little bit sluggish at the start, but over a couple weeks, I had way more energy than I did when I didn't have as many carbs in my diet. That's because carbs are your body's main energy source. So when I got to a point where my body was happy with the level of carbs that it was getting, I was able to push that bit harder in my workouts, and I got more results from it. A lot of the time, you're going to hear people saying, cut this out of your diet, get rid of fats, carbs are bad, don't eat sugar. But really, food is fuel. And once you figure out the foods that are right for your body and will give you the most energy and help you perform your best, you're onto a winner. Focus on what you can add to your diet rather than what you can take away. So instead of thinking that you have to cut out your favorite square of chocolate that you have every evening after dinner, try adding some more veg to your meals. The micronutrients are also super important and are going to help you towards your fitness goals. But in general, if you're adding more nutritious foods to your diet, then you're probably not going to be craving those sugary foods as much, and you probably won't be as hungry either. So focus on eating for fuel and the nutritious foods that you can add to your diet rather than cutting out a whole food group. That being said, if there is a food that you think is not quite agreeing with you or is making your performance in the gym worse, then it's good to experiment. So try taking it out of your diet for a week or so and see how you feel. I actually had to do this with milk last year because I got food poisoning and just drinking milk would make me physically sick. So now I do soya milk and life's a whole lot better. Things like that can make a big difference. But when you find the foods that really help you perform and feel your best, that's when results start to flood in. Never miss 2 habits in a row. This one's been a game changer in helping me to stick to new habits because it means that I don't feel guilty if I miss one day, but if I miss 2 days, then that's not on. For example, starting the gym. It's okay if you miss one day. You can take that as a rest day because rest days are crucial for helping you to actually see progress. But if you skip more than one day, then you need to start questioning whether you're actually ill and you need that time to recover, or you're just being lazy. The same goes if the habit you're trying to build was not leaving dirty dishes in the sink. If you do it for one day, then that's forgivable. Just do it in the morning, get it over with. Maybe you left something to soak. But this habit will make sure that you're not doing it for more than 2 days, and it really just keeps you accountable to sticking to your habits and making them actually count in the long run. So as long as you wash them up on that second day, then you're still sticking to your habit, but don't make a habit of leaving it every 2 days because that's kind of tricking the system. So you can apply this rule to basically any new habit that you're trying to build, but for me, it makes building new habits so much easier because it gets rid of that feeling of guilt if you accidentally miss a day, because you can just hop back on it the next day and you've not broken your habit. Have a structured workout plan. When I started the gym, I had no idea what I was doing. I was literally going in there, picking and choosing random exercises, doing a few sets. I didn't really know what a set was, and then just leaving. I didn't skip leg day though, so I got that right. But when I started using a structured workout program, that's when my results pretty much doubled in the same amount of time. So if you're currently faffing around in your workouts and you don't really have a clear plan, then it's time to get one. This could be as simple as just writing down the exercises that you plan to do before going and doing your gym session, and then while you're there, writing down the weights and the reps that you're able to lift. It really doesn't have to be complicated. I've got videos of a full week of gym workouts or a full week of home workouts that you can definitely check out after this video for free in the description. Write lists. If I don't write something down, I will forget it. But at this point, my lists have lists, so I cannot emphasize enough how much this has changed my life. Even things from shopping lists so that I buy the things I actually need to buy for the week, to writing out my workouts. I don't always do this on paper, let's be honest. But when I started working out, I actually wrote the list of exercises in the notes app on my phone, and you can scroll back. It'll take you a good few minutes to scroll back to the end of my notes because I've done it for a while. And I wouldn't have made much progress in the gym at all if I hadn't been listing out my exercises with the weights I've been using and the reps I've been using. In my opinion, the Notes app is one of the most underrated apps on the iPhone. Each week, I can just go in and copy and paste the note and then try and add 1 rep or 1 kg to each exercise, and that's progression. Everyone always tries to overcomplicate fitness, but it really doesn't have to be that hard. Even the tiniest increase in weight or an extra rep, it still counts as progression, and you're gonna get results with that. But without writing it down, I would never know. Because my little brain doesn't have enough space to remember that I did 8 reps last Monday of cable overhead tricep extensions for 15 kilograms. You know what I'm saying?
Get your steps in. Having a daily steps goal and sticking to it is an amazing way to increase your cardiovascular health and also reduces the risk of heart disease and stroke.
But it doesn't have to be 10,000 steps.
A 2020 study found that people who took 8,000 steps a day had a 50% lower risk of death compared to people who took 4,000 steps a day. And the risk of death from cancer and heart disease also decreased as the number of daily steps increased. So although you don't have to do 10,000 steps each day, aiming for 8,000 or above is a really good idea for your general health.
Prioritize sleep, please.
A 2018 study split 36 participants into 2 groups. Both groups were in a calorie deficit, and the only difference was one group was getting 1 less hour of sleep than the other group during the weekdays, but they were allowed to have a lie-in at the weekends to catch up. You'd expect the weight loss results to be the same, right? Because in total, both groups are getting a similar amount of sleep. But after 8 weeks of their diet, although the amount of weight lost in both groups was the same, the group that consistently got more sleep lost 83% of the weight from fat mass, while the group that got less sleep lost 85% of their weight from lean mass. So a lot of that would actually be muscle.
Especially if you're in a bit of a rut right now, then getting enough sleep could be the thing that skyrockets you out of that rut and starts you making exponential gains. The 2-minute rule. If a task's going to take you less than 2 minutes to do, just do it. This can be anything from putting your washing away, sweeping the floor, putting away the few last dishes that you had from last night, looking up your workout clothes for the next day, putting on your workout clothes and going to sit in the car, or even just tidying up a bit before you go to bed. It's doing these tiny little tasks that really don't take much effort that are going to build up and help you to be able to do the bigger things. Another tiny little thing that literally takes 1 second is subscribing. Because you've made it this far and I appreciate you, and if you're not subscribed but you've got value out of this video, what are you doing? But it's all well and good me giving you all these habits that I do on a day-to-day basis, but I didn't start out doing all of them. It takes about 66 days to build a habit, and that's why I've created a free download for you, so you can pick just 3 of these habits to build over the next 66 days. And let me know in the comments which habits changing your life most.
I know this is a little bit awkward, but I forgot to do an outro to this video, so I love you guys so much and see you in the next one.